Hello everyone, this is Revathi M, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science, Artificial Intelligence and Data Science, Dr. SNS Rajalakshmi College of Arts and Science. In this series, we are discussing about theoretical fundamentals of artificial intelligence. Today, we are going to see about the recursive programming in AI. First, we see the design thinking stages for recursive programming in AI. So, first stage, define. So in artificial intelligence learning, the define stage is the most important first step because it helps us clearly understand what problem we have trying to solve. Without a proper definition, the rest of the AI process can become confusion or go in the wrong direction. So to make a complex problem easier to handle, we introduce the concept of recursive programming. So recursion is a technique where a big task is divided into smaller. Similar tasks are easier to solve. For example, instead of solving a big reasoning problem at once, we break it into smaller sub-problems and solve each one step by step. This method matches perfectly with the idea of the define stage, where we set the boundaries of the problem, decide what need to be solved first, and outline possible solution paths. So recursive thinking not only helps in programming, but also in logically defining and approaching problems in AI. Next, we see the objectives of recursive programming in AI. So in this topic, we focus on understanding the principles of programming. Recursion means a function or rule calling itself to smaller parts of a bigger problem. It's like breaking a large problem into simpler, repeated steps until we reach an easy base case. So in logical programming, especially in language like Prolog, recursion plays a key role since Prolog doesn't have loop like traditional language. Recursion is used to repeat operations and explore different possibilities. For example, when we want to find a path in a maze or a check relationship like ancestor in a family tree, recursion helps the program reason step until they find a solution. So by learning recursion, we can effectively solve reasoning and searching problem when the solution depends on exploring different logical paths and combining smaller results to reach the final answers. Next, we see the what are the concepts we are using in the recursive program. So in recursive program is a powerful technique where a function calls it itself to solve smaller parts of a program. This process continues until it reaches a simple case known as the base case, which can be solved directly. So in artificial intelligence, recursion is widely used for tasks like tree traversal, search algorithm, and reasoning problems. For example, when an AI program searches through a decision tree or explore possible moves in a game, recursion allows is to systematically visit each node as state. So the main advantage of recursion is that it provides clear and elegant solution for problems that have repeated or hierarchical structures. So how AI system reason and make decisions step by step. Next, we see the recursive implementation in logic programming. So already we know Prolog support the recursion naturally. So in Prolog, recursion is the natural and essential part of programming because it allows us to define relationships and solve problems step by step. Prologs. Then, unlike traditional language that use loops, Prolog relies on recursive rules to repeat operations. Let's look at the example of finding a factorial. Here, factorial 0, 1, factorial of nf, it's minus n greater than 0 and n1 is n minus 1. So, factorial of n1 f1, here f is the n into f1. So the first line in the base class which says that the factorial of 0 is 1. The second rule is the recursive case which defines the factorial of n in terms of the factorial of n minus 1. So Prolog uses recursion for reasoning task and search-based AI problem such as path finding, family relationship and logical inference. where each step depends on the result of the smaller similar subprograms. This makes a recursion a fundamental tool for problem solving in AI using Prologs. Next, we see what are the outcomes of learning recursive programming. By end of this topic, students should be able to understand and apply recursive programming concept effectively. They should be able to clearly explain how recursion works. That is how a problem can be solved by repeatedly into the smaller subproblems until a simple base class is reached. So these are the mind map of the recursion programming in AI. First one, we are seeing the concepts of recursion programming, objectives, implementation and outcomes of learning and the course information. So in the concept of recursive programming, we see the definitions, common use of AI, benefits, elegant solution for repeater structures. So we come to the end of this section. I hope you enjoy this section. Thank you.